Okay, we're live here today, and this is just a shop hangout. No pomp and circumstance, no show. I'm just gonna let you hang in while I'm working and just do my thing. I might describe what I'm doing here or there, but yeah, just rough and just down and dirty footage of what I'm doing today. So I've got to adapt these leg attachments for a Steinway Model D so that, well, the case is really beat up on this piano. It's going to be a great sounding piano. I don't own it or anything. It's not a customer of mine. I'm doing it for another technician who's rebuilding it, and it'll be up for sale. But the piano will be really nice, but the case has just been completely thrashed. So the legs didn't fit very well. And this leg, well, one of the legs didn't even have the right kind of plate to fit, so we couldn't even stand the piano on its legs. So my task today is to refit it with a different style of leg coupler to the case. And this is much deeper into the leg, so I have to route out what's going on there. So that's what I'm doing. I've worked up the process on one of the legs, and I just have to do it to the two other legs, and then we're set. So that's what I'm working on. So let me get my bearings. I just walked into the shop just barely. Yeah, so this is not really a sound related task, which is odd for me. I mean, I do some things not sound related, but most of what I do on the piano is contributing to the functionality of it as an instrument. You know, this is not. So, which is fine. And this is something I've never done. I mean, you'll have a task like this that comes up, and it's like, well, I got to figure out a way to do this. And I really enjoy coming up with a process to do something, you know. That's actually, yeah, I like that. Plant this in place so it doesn't move around on me. Yeah, so yesterday I was kind of in what I call mad scientist mode. Just figuring out what I was going to do on this leg, and then I tested it out on one of the legs, and now we're good to go. So I just got to repeat it twice over. Check the time here. What time is it? Well, time sheet. I do want to track my time on this piano. Got everything. Mounting these legs is not as straightforward as it might seem, or maybe it doesn't seem straightforward, I don't know, but basically you have issues because you need it to be mounted straight, and these legs, I think they have been worked on, remounted several times in the past. We have, you know, a bunch of mismatching screws, stripped out screws, extra extra holes. Like I said, one of the receiver plates didn't even fit this male end, and so I got mismatched screws. I got everything going on right now. We're just going to clean this assembly up. And the hole that I need to make for the new one is, like I said, way deeper, but also slightly larger in diameter. So that's kind of a challenge. So it has to be routed out slightly larger, but still centered on everything. So I'm going to get some center lines. First thing on this leg, because that'll help me put it together. Where I put my mechanical pencil last. Locate that. Yeah, where did I put my pencil? I don't think I ever had the right pencil, what I need, so let me go find one. Found one, okay. I like to use a mechanical pencil for working on things. And I'm going to center the new assembly right where the old one was centered. Because I think that centering is good of the hole. This one, I'm going to use a straight edge and just make sure it's parallel to the sides of the leg as I cross the center hole on this leg here. This is just helping align it. Go, just kind of cross check myself. Just some crosshairs there. Found that useful in the last one we did, so. Put a line there. That's square, it is. It's square. Like that. If it helps me get it straight in the end, that's good. So, now that I've got that, I need to put my template on that I made the other day. Just cut, I traced what I need to do, and I cut it out with the jigsaw so that I can route out its leg, and then I found that I have to have these mounting screws for the template, countersunk so that this is flush so the router can go along there fine. And these crosshairs will help me, the crosshairs on my template will help me align with the crosshairs on the leg. mark it for drilling the holes on this thing, on the center, right where the other one was. This one's a lot larger actually. But, oh, I don't have what I need. I need a punch that goes through my, these are 1/4 inches. Where are you? That's it. So maybe this was 9/64. Oh, 7/32. That's right. I use the same. 7/32 is a number that comes up a lot in piano action work because usually most hammer shanks that the hammers are what do you call it? Oh, by the way, I'm going to cross-check my template with this. Again, this is just centering my hole directly based on the other one. I'm just going to put a punch on there. Each one, not my template. My holes are more or less right on my center line, but these weren't exact on the template either because they're just for clamping it, but the lines are really what's important. But again, I've already done this once, so I'm pretty sure we're good on that. Now I need a 9/64 bit, which I have right here. I have it labeled because that's the proper size for these screws that I'm going to use to clamp the template on. So we will drill these in. And they need to go a certain depth. So I need to get into the leg yay deep. It's pretty deep, but I've done like I did it on one leg already. I've already figured out, make sure I'm not going through the other side or anything weird like that. And I have a stop collar for my bit that I'm going to grab that I like to use lately. Little drill stop collars. They're like, I just really into these lately. I think it was right about, if I just put it right at the chuck. I think that's what I wanted, but I'll check that here. Here's my depth on that. No, that's not deep enough. So I either cannot use my stop collar, I just use my bit as my chuck is the stop. And I think, I'll still use the stop collar. Bring this down a bit, get it, a bit, just a bit. Let's see if that's where we want it. Yeah, that'll just get me, might even go a little more shallow, so I don't break out the other side of that leg. Just be sure I don't, because I don't need that, like that much depth. Yeah, that's just barely longer than the screw, which is just fine. I'm going to want to drill these holes straight. Here I keep them to go like this, that'll help me to do so. Again, this is all just so I can route out the leg. I guess here's a finished product of one that I installed already. See, so that's what we're headed towards. Okay, so now I'm gonna use some screw wax. Make sure I don't break a screw head off or something. This is just beeswax. Really nice. And putting a freshly drilled screw hole in. Try to orient this the same way as it was before. I have my handy dandy bit ready to go for this. Like I said, I worked this all out yesterday, so this is not a job I've ever done. You know, so it's not like, anyway, I had to come up with a procedure for what would be good. So, alright, screw wax on this guy. Put him in the other one, the other side. And I also had to get a special, well, I had not special, but another router bit that I did not have, which was a top bearing router bit, so that I could follow this pattern and route down below it. Good. So I don't think my pattern's going to go anywhere. So yesterday I mounted this like so. I don't need to worry about the finish. This panel's going to be totally refinished and everything. There. Just to hold it still. This is going to get crazy messy as far as out of wood chips and shavings. And the router bit, you tend to, so this router bit has a top bearing, so I can roll along this pattern, but I have to go to quite a depth. And this is the depth, but I'm going to double check before I just go to it. This is the depth that it should be. Just thinking out loud here. 37.5 millimeters. My template is 14 millimeters. Oh, you know what? It's a tiny bit deep, my last one was, if I remember right. So I'm going to turn this up just a tiny bit, a half millimeter. And so my template's 14. Again, thinking out loud so I don't mess up. 14 millimeters, and then my piece that needs to be sunk in there flush is 22-ish, 22 and a half, really. So 14 plus 22, 36 and a half. Thinking right? 14, and then another 22, 18, 34, 36 millimeters, which this is 36 and a half. So it's probably going to be correct based on what I did yesterday. So now I need to goggle up. safety goggle up, and I'm going to get just tons of sawdust and chips all over me. Now routing, I haven't done a lot of routing. I'm not an expert woodworker, in general. I learned what I need specifically for the pianos, and I learned what I need to do there. And I get good at those operations a lot, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't do all the time. So, routing, you kind of go against the rotation of the bit. But then when I come around the circle to the top, then even though it's against the rotation of the bit, the grain on this wood, at least the last one I did, kind of would grab and tear. So I really have to hold this tight. Now I'm going to plunge to this depth, and I'm going to kind of just go to it. Let's see if I'm plugged in. No, I got to plug myself in too. That's kind of important. So. Alright, so I'm going to go to it. I'm going to kind of plunge a little circle and then work my way around. So that was doing not nice things on me here. Check my depth. Yeah, it changed my depth completely. Can't be having that. Good thing I caught that. I heard it, and then I heard it kind of vibrate. It knocked my bit loose is what happened there. I'm going to unplug, reset my bit, and be more careful about it. So the hard thing is I'm going really deep. I don't have the patience to go just a tiny bit at a time with the router. Maybe I should, But maybe I'll do that. I'll memorize my number and I'll just be more patient. Just take little bits at a time and it'll go a little smoother. Picture that's off. Let me tighten this on. Get my depth set. So it totally grabbed my bit and it started to pull it out. After that collar. Crazy, huh? So I'm going to go where I tighten that up. A little tighter. I just need to be more careful. If you try and grab too much wood at a time, it can't do that so well. I'll get my bit tightened first and then I'll go from there. I was kind of wondering the other day, how tight do these bits need to be? Well, that shows one example where it needs to be quite tight. Okay, so I'm just going to run this to like a real small depth, but the problem with that is I cannot follow my pattern actually. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just take the minimal of what I need to, but I can still follow my pattern. Honestly, I'm almost to the depth where I need to be anyway. So I'm just going to be more careful about how much wood I bite into. And as I get a bigger hole, that'll clean up some. I should be okay. Thinking out loud anyway. And my number there was 36 and like a half before of depth. And I'm going to go 30, just right there. Okay, I gotta be careful now. I'll just be more careful about it. Plug in. mask. Excuse me. Kicks up a lot of dust, that's for sure. You can see I'm getting into that hole there. Just kind of going in circles, working my way around because I need the depth that I have. We'll grab the dust mask. That's the better. Go again. lap full of shavings there. And I've got my template. I'm going to go ahead and drill the old screw holes out a bit so I can dowel them. Okay, we're going to dowel those holes. This is 1/2 inch. Clean them out. So I got 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch maple dowels to work with there. Somewhere. Maybe have to give me a piece. We'll get another dowel here. Okay, so there's that hole doweled out, drilled out in there, routed out, whatever it is. So we just did. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and put dowels in there. Seal up the old holes. Go get my wooden hammer. Where did I take that? Alright. Alright, let's cut that off. Initial cut there. Had it. Big wooden hammer that I like to use. Where'd that thing go? Hiding in plain sight. It's hiding in plain sight. Where are we? So it's just a giant hammer I made out of pine I've been looking for. Oh, there it is. There we go. Hammer that in next time we have the long one. Okay. Let's do another dowel here. the old screws aren't really going to go along these dowels too deep, and so at least, you know, so it doesn't have to be like, you know, perfect fit or anything. That's the sound we want. Bottoming out there. We can always clean up the glue after. Okay, now I'm going to trim these closer to flush. I'm going to put the cap on my glue. It doesn't really matter to me how clean that is, even if there's like a little cut into the bottom. It's not gonna matter at all. The overall thing sitting there. I don't need, you know, I'm not going for an award of, you know, perfect looking whatever. So, but I do need it flush at least. So I gotta finish it off with the sanders. What I found was the quickest way last time, just a die grinder here with a real coarse grit. No, it's on. This tool is just kind of might just do some oil. Maybe next time. so that's looking good. And I want this to be straight. I need this rectangle to be straight with the leg squared up. And it's looking okay. There. Good. You know, even on a brand new piano, brand new Steinway, even you'll find, if you look closely, the legs aren't mounted like perfect, you know. Okay, so I found that it's good to do one screw at a time on these, because if the screw's just drilled like a little bit, whatever, it can pull it off a square. And so we have to be careful of that. Okay, now what hardware do we want? We want these guys. And I had a bit for those. Just need to make sure I located it. Okay, good. Probably this one. That's a little, oh, I decided to go a little bit bigger than I normally would. So a tiny bit bigger than the main shank of the screw, and I think I already measured the depth that I want. Yeah, because these don't go into the collar at all. When they go through this thing, you only see the threading. So I only need that depth or just a little bit more, so I've got a little bit more, and that worked for me last time, so we'll go with that. Maybe just a sanity check, make sure I'm not going to bust out of the leg, out the bottom, and I'm not, so we're good. This off here. Just need to drill it in, and I want to drill really straight as I can. Not worth putting in a drill press at this point. You know, I want to build my skills. And I don't actually have to be perfectly straight. I could even cheat in towards the center of the leg a tiny bit, but then I would have to do the opposing thing. So I'm gonna go for straight up and down and whatnot, and get a feel for that. You know, but I find that try as I might for straight up and down, I don't always nail it. My experience yesterday. Pull this out. Again, my screw wax, very important. This is like a staple for me to have this around to not break screws when you're putting them in for the first time. And we're just going to run this in, except I did this the other day, except the correct way. Let's make sure make sure I punch that right, yeah. Because one side of this has a receptacle for the clamping Allen screw to go through the leg and clamp it, right? So I got to make sure it's on that side, not the other side, which it is. All right, now we'll screw this guy in here. And stop the spinning here. Oh wow, the stream didn't stop. Okay. I had another phone that I was using for filming, and I don't have that right now. That's one of my issues. But anyway, let's see. We'll zoom in on the leg here a bit more. You can see what's going on. So that screw's run in. It's running all the way. So what I'm working on, this is fitting this is legs for a Model D, a Concert Grand 9-foot Steinway. The piano's really beat up and old, and it's being rebuilt, refinished. And the old style plate, like we couldn't even stand it on its legs because the arrangement that was there had been swapped out for mismatched things. And so we're changing it for this new system, which is really like the German Steinway pianos, where there's a rectangle that goes into a receptacle, and then it's clamped with this screw here. So we're adapting these legs for these. And I'm on leg number 2 of 3. So I got my screw hole pretty good there, and I clamped it hard, and this thing kind of rocks a little bit if I clamp it too hard. But that's better than I did yesterday. What do you know? Practice makes perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do my next hole, but again, I'm going to check my squareness of this thing to the leg. And we'll go opposite corner, why not? Make a punch here. Okay. Get the screw out. Wow, I basically ended up swedging that punch in there a little bit. So good. Didn't want that. Got it stuck in it. I hit it too hard before it did. Deformed things. Let's see, maybe I just got some. I just got a little chunk of something in there, I don't know. There we go. Okay, now we'll drill that second hole here. Again, I want to be nice and straight as I can, because so far so good. We're straight with the first one. Don't need to adjust anything. Blow that out. And this is a screw here. Obviously that's the screw, right? I'm checking each one because I really want this leg to be rotated square. You see, and with this one it wants to pull it a certain way. So I really need each screw to kind of be custom done to make sure this is going to be straight in the end. I'll do this one first so I know it's straight. This one. Back this guy out a little bit. Like that. And I'm not quite flush on this left corner, and I'm a little bit skewed. I'm going to see what's keeping me from being level. One of the dowels are just sawdust or what? It's kind of a rock to this part. Let's see here. So I am a little lower on this right side than here, and I wonder if it's this dowel sticking up right here. So I'm going to sand that down a bit more to help me. Okay, that's just about perfectly flush there now, which I think is good enough. Let's see what happens with the screw in this time, if it'll line up better, because now it's not trying to tilt the hole one way or another. It does tilt still. But that should pull it square too. No, actually, so let's see. These are pretty tight screws, if you can imagine. Seems like lock them up pretty big, heavy duty. And I want them to be real solid and secure. So the squareness is not bad, but we might, depending on where we drill this hole and this one, if I cheat this one a little that way and this one a little that way, that'll help tweak it straight. And then I just have to tighten the screws in a certain order, right? So I'm going to re-straighten this before I do my next punch. And I'm going to cheat this guy a little that way as I punch. Okay. Let's see what that did for us. Just make that a little more defined before we start drilling into there. Okay. Here we go. We can drill away here. Straight down this way. Straight. Hey, Liza.
There's a lot of stuff in here right now.
Yeah, there's not much room in here, is there? I got a live stream going, FYI.
What?
I got a live stream going, FYI. You don't have to do anything special, it's just like a shop cam.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So now, let's try, see what happens when I run this guy in. Start this one, because this one is actually going well. It's pretty good, I think. Let's see where this one ended up. I can't remember how it's going to pull it. So it's going pretty well. It's pretty straight. So we just got one more hole to do, and I might end up cheating this one a little bit that way, just a tiny bit to tweak it there, if I can. Let's see. It's kind of more the way I drill more than where I put the punch, because the punch is pretty tight fitting with the hole. I'll take these out. Okay, so now when I drill this, I'm going to drill slightly angled this way, so the head of the screw, let me think through this. Yeah, I want it to pull the plate this way, so I do want to be just a tiny bit in towards the center of the leg. See where we ended up with that. And we're getting low on leg hardware. That's a good sign we're almost done with this project. Let's see. There we go. All right. Yeah, so my hole did end up that way a little bit, and notice it's pulling the plate that way, which is good, because depending on the order that I tighten these, you know, I can get it straight now between the different anchors that I have. So I'm gonna do this one, I think, which pulls it that other way. That one kind of straightens it out. Oop. Haven't run it all the way yet, so it's kind of fresh. Oh, it's pretty straight. But what I'll do is I'll kind of loosen, try and re-straighten, re-tighten different ways. See where that gets me. That's looking good now. That's looking pretty straight. There we go, and that's flush. Okay. But just flush. It should, you know, flush enough. I think it'll work out when we tighten it together. So that's pretty good. Now we're gonna go mount it onto the piano. But I'm gonna route out the third leg first, I think, actually, before we do that. Mounting it on the piano seemed to be the easy part yesterday when I finished this first leg. Oh, you know what? I need to drill this hole. Oh, and you know what? I can straighten that a little bit more. The way that is. I'm going to do that. Let's see. Sorry, I know this looks awkward. I'll do it. Straight. Oh, that's the purpose. I'm gonna look at it this way. Adjust that way. That loosens all enough. We can go straight with it here. I think I'm going to tighten this guy first. Let's see. No, I pulled it that way. Okay, this one. Let's go first, probably. That'll help. I'm gonna force it up to one way. Okay. Let's see what happens with this one. Pretty darn straight. Yeah, that's straight. I was just looking at it at a weird angle, so it's fooling me. And this one, just pull it even more that way. There. Now we just tighten these as needed. Just to make it tight and not skew it. Something really hold it. It's pretty straight. It's not perfect, but it's straight enough. We could be able to be straight on the piano. Okay. And flush. Now I need to drill this hole. It's gonna go there. The last one I did was not perfectly placed, despite what I thought was careful measuring. So. So I'm going to look at this here, measure down from the top, and see where I'm at. So this should be, the center, this should be right at half an inch down from the top, or actually 12 millimeters. 12 millimeters down from the top. Piece of cake, right? More or less a half inch, a little less. And then this, where the plate goes, it's going to be just going to the right of my center line in this one, which is okay. So, I'm going to plant my blade down. Right there. I don't know if that's true. And I'm drilling an oversized hole from the hole in the metal plate size, so it should be just fine. I was going backwards on purpose to make that a bigger divot. Now we need to go right straight through this. See how we did. Perfect. Much better than before. So now this will go right to the top of that. And I'm going to bevel this hole. You notice there's some play there, which is nice. Actually, just trust me on that, I guess. It'll be nice, it'll work out well. the plate, because the head is off center of the holder. It should pull the plate down. But it pulls it the other way. Why am I thinking wrong? Oh well. It can happen. Pretty darn straight. Yeah, I'm looking at lower torque on this side a little bit. Just the way it's tight. Yeah, it's all flush. Looks full. It's pretty good. You know, skewed a tiny bit, rotated counterclockwise, but we'll compensate for that. Maybe in the plate on the piano. You know, because if we rotate the receiving plate a little bit, then it'll straighten the leg out to the case. So looks good. Oh, actually, I'm going to do the third leg, get it to this point, then I'll work in the piano. And I think it's a good time for a break on the stream. And I'll start it again when I get to work again after this little break here, probably in about 15-20 minutes. Thanks for watching.